is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Fixes Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brad, joined by my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
Dynamic duo podcast this week. Much like a game that we've been playing that focuses on dynamic duos. So I got to tell you, Micah, I was a couple hours into my Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart playthrough, and I was a little concerned because I had listened to reviews and listened to people talk about this game for a couple days preceding it. And I was getting like, people were talking like, oh man, this is like game of the year contender kind of stuff. I'm like, wow, for a Ratchet and Clank game, that's pretty impressive. Not that Ratchet and Clank is ever bad, but you kind of know what you're going to get out of a Ratchet and Clank game. And in the first couple hours, this kind of felt the same as all the other Ratchet and Clank games to me. Even with the addition of a new playable character in Rivet. And I don't know, a couple hours in, I was like, it's a good game. It's a great game even, but I don't know if this is like, generation defining games. I mean, obviously visually it looks incredible and the technology that you see is pretty dope, but it wasn't like I was easily able to finish up my Mass Effect 3 playthrough without stressing too much. But as you go through Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, it just gets better and better. To the point now where I've beaten the game, I platinumed the game already. And I now understand why people were giving it the hype that it is, because it's just a fantastic game in its totality, with the characters and how they have really like fleshed out and well-rounded main characters that aren't just kind of caricatures. The game deals with some heavy emotional subplots and stuff like that, and makes the characters incredibly relatable. And from a gameplay perspective, this suite of weapons is the best that I've experienced in the series so far, just in terms of the variety. And the other thing that's really cool that I don't really remember them doing a whole lot of in the Ratchet and Clank remake, and Crack in Time was too far ago because that was the last one I played before that, but they really do a great job designing a lot of the combat encounters in the game, especially in the late game, to encourage you to switch up the weapons that you're using, because like there's a lot fewer like old faithfuls in this game as you move along. And that was my experience.
The last Ratchet and Clank game I played was Ratchet and Clank Going Commando.
Okay,
that's how long.
So you missed all the PS3 ones. That's a shame.
I missed all the PS3 ones because I figured, all right, I get it. It's a Ratchet and Clank game. I know exactly just everything you said. You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
So it felt good to come back and play this game, which is, in the end game, it turns into a bit of a bullet hell third person action platform. It's a testament to, this is a perfect showcase of, this is the perfect first game for these new systems to see what is possible, right? Everything runs at 60 frames. It's beautiful, right? There's colors all over the place. The amount of stuff on screen at any given time is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Like, you're picking up bolts while you're shooting their version of a Gatling gun and dodging enemies that are firing from 3 different directions. Not one stutter. Meanwhile, you're teleporting to different areas in the arena with the little mini rifts, the gold rifts, to reposition yourself. And it's this is the perfect game to showcase what these new systems can do. Rivet, you play. I was surprised how much you play as Rivet.
I was a little bit too. She is definitely not just a novelty character.
Yeah, it's like it feels like it
feel like you
feels
can
like
rip it more.
64.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like you can rip it more in this game than you do Ratchet.
Especially if you like go into like some of the challenge arenas and stuff like
Mhm.
that, where like no, that's only Rivet can do those, which is fine. Jennifer Hale is amazing as always. The story is, it's like a Pixar movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the story's not gonna blow you away, but it's not like. But
Have
I
you
was
beaten the
invested.
game yet?
Oh, I platinumed it.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
I got a
platinumed
platinum.
too?
Yeah, I got a platinum. Yeah. I did.
I mean, it's very Pixar-y right down to the end credits, which are probably the best end credits that I've ever seen in a video game ever.
I watched them.
Yeah. not only visually, but even when you get to like the scrolling credits, there's an original song
Yeah.
in the game, which is wild. Like, so we're not going to talk story spoilers here. Because like I said, the story is what it is, as Micah mentioned. But yeah, what a damn game. It's like I said, it's everything came together really well. Also from a collection standpoint, so like I 100%ed the original game before I started the challenge mode playthrough just to clean up the last couple of trophies. Not overbearing, like it's very balanced in terms of collecting all of the things that there are to collect between the gold bolts and the spy bots and the Kragger bears and things like that. Like the Kragger bears were something I was concerned about, because you need to get all of them to get one of the trophies in the game, and there's one in each level, and I wasn't really focusing on finding them as I was going through the game, but getting to them after the fact wasn't really that difficult either. Like even having to just fly back to the worlds and pick those up wasn't too bad. So yeah, so if you're like a completionist type but you don't want something that's like brutally grinding, great game for this as well. If you beat the game and unlock the challenge mode, there's continued progression because you can still level up Ratchet and Rivet, and you can also level up all the weapons, double their level as well, and add new abilities to them and things of that nature. Yeah, like I said, just a top to bottom fantastic game. Also for me, like this is the first game that I played. Like I know you played Spider-Man already that had this, but this is the first game that I played that has ray tracing in it, and that shit is incredible. Like that's it's when you've never seen it in a video game before, like seeing it for the first time and done really well. Because I don't know if Returnal has ray tracing, but if it does, it's not very noticeable. But I mean, it's super noticeable in Ratchet and Clank because you have fucking Clank and Kit who are metallic, so you have reflections off of them, and all the different armor that you can use on Ratchet and Rivet can be reflected because a lot of that's metallic, and it's a wild looking fucking technical experience for sure.
Yeah, like it makes you really appreciate all these photo modes now. You know,
yeah,
what I mean? Like it's good, man. Like you said, there wasn't like one go-to weapon, and there wasn't a bad weapon.
Yeah.
At least for me, I could, some of the weapons are very archetypal, right? But they have their own like twists. This is it. The game is interesting in that it tries to showcase what the triggers for the PlayStation 5 are capable of doing. A lot of these things have alternate fire modes, and instead of holding down like the L1 button to modify your shot and then pull the trigger, the modifier is you either press it halfway or you press it all the way, which is very interesting. Like it took a minute to get used to, but once I got the hang of it, yeah, it felt natural, you know. Yeah, and I just
that damn void repulsor, man. That trophy was the last one I got. It was the biggest pain in the ass to get out of all.
I just sat in that challenge arena
too.
And just tried to stay as far away as I could, man. Just like get out of here, man. But yeah, and it's a game that's like for all ages, right? Like you and skill levels, right? Like you'll have like cynical, like hardcore quote unquote gamers who are like, yeah, Ratchet and Clank, that's a baby game. I mean, it's a baby game if you make it a baby game, right? If you put it on baby mode where you can't die, then yeah, it's a baby game. But if you crank up the difficulty, like you're gonna die a lot.
Oh, if you especially if you go on like, because there's 5 difficulty levels in the game. I played it on the medium, which I think was Rogue Agent. I never really, even in like the end game sections where, like you said, it's like a bullet hell shooter in a lot of ways. I never felt too stressed. Like I probably could have handled the next difficulty level up without much of an issue. Beyond that, I'm sure it's probably
it's a little more difficult. Yeah, it's a little more difficult. And then challenge mode is it's more challenging. So, and that's the thing about Insomniac games. Like I enjoy the difficulty swing that they have with their game. Spider-Man was like that, where you could put it on easy and those guys will just stand there. Or you could put it on ultimate and those people will two-shot you. You know what I mean?
So it's funny, like I'm so just impressed with this game, and I'm so impressed with just how the recent like Insomniac releases have been, that like I'm seriously considering getting Spider-Man and playing it, even though I have no interest in Spider-Man the character. I want to play it not because it's Spider-Man, but because the game is probably just a really good and fun game to play.
It is. It's I will be impressed with Insomniac if you take to Spider-Man, because one, it's Spider-Man, you don't really give a damn.
No.
And two, it's an open world game. You're not really big on those either.
Well, it depends. It depends on the open world game. Like there are open world game. Like I liked Infamous a lot, both or the Infamouses or Infami, as it were. Like I enjoyed those quite a bit. And it seems that Spider-Man is very similar in its structure to like Infamous would be.
Yeah, it kind of is, minus the the BS morality thing, but
sure.
But yeah, if you do pick it up, let me know. I would love to talk about the greatness that is Spider-Man, especially now that you can look at it and play it the way it should be played, and you can see reflections of your body on cars.
Here's a company that we're like, we're bringing Spider-Man to PS5, and you're gonna have to choose between 60 FPS or 30 FPS with ray tracing, and then like later they're just like, you know what? Why not both?
Yeah,
why not both? They put out another update that's just like, we made it work.
Yeah, you made it work. Guess what? I don't need all those people walking around. Like that's the trade-off, right? You either, like you said, you got 60 frames and no ray tracing, 30 frames and ray tracing, or 60 frames ray tracing and not as populated a New York City. Whatever. Well, I'm not just dealing with those people.
Just pretend it's during a pandemic or something. Right? Oh, good. No, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I highly recommend it. If you have seen it and it looks interesting, just get it. It's great. Like I said, it's short because the Ratchet games can be beaten in 10 to 12 hours essentially. But again, they have the whole challenge mode if you want to play through the game again. And it's a fair platinum if you care about such things. So it's solid. I liked it a lot. What are your thoughts on Guilty Gear Strive, which you have also been playing?
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It's very different from, like, I'm not some Guilty Gear aficionado, right? But I've played a couple of Guilty Gear games, and they're, the muscle memory comes back when you start to play it. Except no, it doesn't, because this doesn't play like the other ones, right? like a staple in Guilty Gear was the Gatling combo, where you could combo by stringing together light, medium, and heavy attacks, right? Like you can go from light to medium to heavy, but you can't go backwards, right? Mm-hmm. So a Gatling combo would be like light, or punch / heavy / special attack, right? Now they're more like Street Fighter target combos, where it's more like slash heavy / hit confirm that into a special move, right? Or into a super move. Or jumping and then that combo, right? So it plays different. But if you're a Street Fighter person, I think you would take to it a little better.
Why do you think they changed the style of the gameplay so much?
To get more people to play it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, the Guilty Gear has and the Guilty Gear community was a little pissed because
I was about to say I'd be worried about alienating my existing community by making such a drastic change. So
well, guess what? That existing community is not big, so they want a big community, and that existing community will complain, but then they'll start playing it and they'll get used to it, because that's what you should do if you're good at this stuff, right?
Well, and there's an opportunity because it's not like Street Fighter has the stranglehold that it normally does on its fan base. Because Street Fighter V has been a success overall, but obviously it had rocky beginnings and lost a lot of people straight away. So,
and it's they take away like instant kills and stuff like that because like you don't generally use those things. So I think the stuff like that is for the better. It's people were concerned that it would be too easy or whatever. No, it's not. You still have your complicated characters like Zato 1, right? Like he's a puppet character, and you still have those difficult characters to play, but some of them are a little easier. Like Giovanna is a little easier, right? And they've done away with a lot of the like complicated pretzel inputs to try and do special moves. Like they want it's all about execution, and you don't want to have to worry about execution like physically executing the move. You want to worry about timing. So I'm enjoying what they're doing with it. The game looks amazing. It might be the best looking. It's certainly the best looking anime fighting game. It might be the best looking fighting game that's not meant to look realistic like another NetherRealm Studios game. It's gorgeous. The characters are big and beefy, and they fill up the screen, and the music is amazing. And but you got to kind of like that Japanese rock. But it's really good, right? And damage is I read that people have a bit of an issue with the damage scaling because like when you get hit, right? Like matches don't last long, which is to try and keep things quick, which is good. Like if you want to go like online, right? So I went online, and I'll talk about the good and I'll talk about the bad. And the good is that this is amazing. Like going online is like sitting next to you and playing and fighting someone. It's amazing. Like as long as like pick your region, right? I haven't gone to like tried other regions, right? Like just to test the online. I'm on the East Coast region. I'm playing people on the East Coast. It's amazing. There's no stutter whatsoever. There's barely even any loading. It's amazing. The lobbies are just dumb. They're just dumb. Like I just want to play a match. I want to hit a button. I want them to look for an opponent and then play somebody. In the lobbies, one, you create an avatar, which all right, that means you're going to be spending time in these things. And you can walk around on and the lobby is set up in like a tower, and each tower has a floor, and then you're on the floor and you're jumping from platform to platform looking for people to fight. And
this is how you find a match.
This is how you find a fucking match, yo.
That's silly. Just give me a menu. Like it's not that serious.
Give me a menu. Yes, that's it. And
what's the benefit to that? Like what's the novelty supposed to be?
I have no clue. It's so dumb. So it gets to the point where I'm just like,
the same for like ranked play as well?
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's the same for ranked, and it's the same for unranked play. You just have to, and the way they do the ranking system, you're on a certain floor. Like I'm on floor 5. I'm nowhere near close to heaven, right? Because I suck. But I'm on floor 5, And
but you can work your way up, essentially.
You can work your way up, but and unless you keep losing, you're not going to go down.
Okay.
And while you're on floor 5, you pick a room in floor 5, and hope that somebody is either standing there with their sword out saying that they're looking for a fight, or you just run up on people and you talk to them, and then you say, oh, okay, I want to fight. And it's such a pain, yo. It's such a pain. And they even do it for unranked play. You go into like this park or whatever, and it's the same thing. And it's just dumb. Just, I want to hit a button. I want to go. And while you're searching, you can put me in a training room, and then until you find an opponent. That's it. That's it. I just don't understand the Arc System Works like fascination with it. Maybe it's like trying to reinvent the arcade scene. But
yes, but like, who wants that? Like,
who cares?
If I'm going online to grab a match, I just want to grab a match. Like, I'm not trying to go, run up to people in in fake life and
right. I'm not trying to run up and then virtually put a quarter down on the.
And it's like, oh, I guess this way you can find like the same people or like certain people that you want to fight, but that's what private lobbies are for.
That's what private lobbies are for.
Yeah, like exactly. It's not. Oh, it's just, that's so dumb. That just seems it seems like something that's going to get patched out in like 2 months because people are going to complain about it, and
it's so stupid. It's so dumb, and I mean, it's a little thing, but it's a big thing, especially if you want to play online. Thing. If you play online a lot, like once you get a room, you can, or once you fight somebody, like, all right, it's great, right? And you could rematch that person immediately, and it's going. But if that person backs out, or you want to fight somebody different, I mean, good luck. It's just it's so stupid, and it mars what is otherwise an exceptional fighting game. I absolutely
that's a shame. Really enjoy this game, but you do have me asking myself if I want to play a new fighting game on my PlayStation, or if I want to just jump back in the Street Fighter.
I mean, if you jump back into Street Fighter, depending on how long you've been, it might feel like a totally different.
It probably will feel like a totally new game. I don't think I picked it up in like 2 years at this point. So,
do you have you played since they've added a second V trigger?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
since then, so
okay,
yeah, not much though. Not much.
Yeah, it's different. I fired it up the other day. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
There's a lot of we're in, like I said, we're in a spoiled summer so far this year, and especially in terms of indies. A lot of stuff coming out. Among Us got its Xbox upgrade last week. Strains Brigade also came to Nintendo Switch. These are all everything that came out last week. I'll let you know when we get to this week. Infinitrap Rehamstered came to Xbox. Police Simulator Patrol Officers came to PC. Red Solstice 2 Survivors came to PC. Roguebook came to PC. It's coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch this week. This is a game that I'm actually quite interested in. It's a new deck building roguelike game that's partially designed by Richard Garfield of Magic the Gathering fame. So that could be very neat. Coming out this week, Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX comes to PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. Ender Lily's Quietus of the Nights comes to Switch. Labyrinth City, Pierre the Maze Detective comes to PC. Lego Builder's Journey comes to PC and Switch. Phantom Abyss comes out in early access on Steam, one of the games that I am looking forward to from E3. Super Magbot comes to PC and Switch. Fallen Knight comes to PC. Out of Line comes to PC. Legend of Mana comes to PC, PlayStation, and Switch. DreamWorks Spirit Lucky's Big Adventure comes to PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. Let's see here. Mario Golf Super Rush comes to Switch. I'll be picking that up this weekend, most likely. Scarlet Nexus comes to PC, PlayStation, Xbox. I did not expect this game to come out so soon. Or I should say I did not realize it was right around the corner with all the advertising that's been going on with it. Super Squad comes to PC. And then finally, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 is coming to Nintendo Switch.
That is a lot of games.
It is.
That is a lot of games. I didn't realize Mario Golf was coming out so soon.
I've been wary about Mario Golf because Mario Tennis was a letdown ultimately. And I was fearing more of the same from Mario Golf. It looks like they figured it out as far as having enough modes and enough variety in the gameplay. The Golf Rush mode actually looks kind of fun. Might get annoying, but it looks kind of fun. And then the adventure mode, which apparently they basically just ripped off Golf Story. Nintendo did. So like it's basically a golfing RPG with your Mii character. Looks actually solid. There's like boss battles and situational challenges and shit like that. So looks like it might be pretty good.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I'm sure Brad will be discussing Mario Golf Super Rush on our Discord, which you can go to at densepixels.com/fans. You type that into your little Chrome, Google Play, Firefox, Edge browser, and it'll open up and you'll be like, hey, welcome. And it'll say, something weird when you come in, like, hey, so-and-so, hope you brought pizza or whatever, because they're silly like that. While you're on your Edge browser, you can type in youtube.com/densepixels and subscribe to us on YouTube. Yeah, my job is like they're like all of their websites like perform. They need like Silverlight, so we have to use Microsoft browsers, and now all of them are like Edge. Use Edge.
Yeah, don't use Explorer. There's one thing that I use at work, and I don't have to use it often, that requires Edge, and it drives me nuts whenever I have to use it. Everything else I can do in Chrome, but there's one thing that requires Edge, and it makes me.
I'm working from home, and the only way I can work from home is to port in. Mm-hmm. And the only way that I can do that is through Internet Explorer. So I have to keep using fucking Internet Explorer. Anyway, you can subscribe to all the TMP Studios podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, including the Nerdpocalypse, new episode this week, Black on Black Cinema. Last week we reviewed the 40-year-old version. Coming Distractions. Boy, we have a review of the movie Infinite, which is horrible, and we're gonna have a movie review for Fast 9 that I'm recording after this podcast. And the weekly preview episode of the Look Forward Political podcast.
Are you a big like Fast and Furious guy? Like, do you like love those movies, or do you?
I enjoy those movies.
Or do you like the spectacle and the movies are garbage, and you acknowledge the movies are garbage?
I 100% acknowledge that the movies are garbage. They're silly, right? Like they're ludicrous. No pun intended. But they know that.
Okay.
Right? The makers know that, right? Someone in that movie invoked the laws of physics and how they have to abide by them if they want to finish this mission. What? It's the Fast and the Furious. No, get out of here. Get out of here. Look, that's a lot of podcasting. But if it's still not enough, you can go to densepixels.com/premium, and for $5 a month, $50 a year, you get access to the Premium Slave podcast, including the airing of grievances, No Time to Bleed, The Men with the Golden Tongues, which we recorded a new episode.
Yeah, it's going to come out later this week. I've got to edit it still, but it's pretty solid.
I see what you did there. Upstage conversation, and I really like that. And the full episode of the Look Forward Political podcast.
That'll be coming out on Thursday, I believe. I'm recording it with Jay tomorrow, so we'll have all the politics talk for you. We took last week off just because schedules didn't line up, and I think we all just needed a fucking break. So, but yeah, so that is all the great stuff on the TMP Studios network. Let's get right into the news. Pokemon Unite is coming this summer. You may be asking me, Brad, what is Pokemon Unite? Glad you asked. It is a multiplayer online battle arena game, aka a MOBA. And it's going to be coming out on Nintendo Switch this summer, starting in July, and on mobile platforms starting in September. It's going to be a free-to-play game. They're planning for cross-platform play between Switch and mobile devices, and you'll be able to sync your progress across both platforms. Micah, I wish Carrie was here because she'd have a lot more to say probably, but are you excited? Are you going to try Pokemon Unite? Have you played a MOBA before?
I've not played a MOBA before. I downloaded League of Legends a long time ago, and I turned it on, I booted it up, and I just couldn't get past the tutorial. So I was like, I am too dumb for this. I want to point and shoot stuff. No, I've even tried to like watch MOBAs, and yeah, I just don't know what's going on, and ESPN used to air them at like 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, they used to do Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, and I just couldn't get into it.
I mean, it's free, right? So it's free. I've never played League of Legends. We did play when we visited Sparky Pants Studios a couple of years ago and did the feature on what was the name of that game? I think it was like Downfall or something like that. That was a MOBA. So that's literally the only MOBA that I've ever played. And I had fun playing that for 2 matches. But yeah, it's free. I'll try it, right? Like it's going to be interesting to see what gets monetized in the game. I would imagine new characters, like there'll probably be a small selection of characters that you can play for free. Pikachu will be one of them, undoubtedly. And you can probably pay to unlock the other characters as you go. This is an interesting mishmash of genres, but it makes a lot of sense. I mean, Pokemon is a game that has a lot of unique critters with unique abilities, and that translates perfectly into a MOBA. So very cool. We'll see what it looks like this summer when it drops on Nintendo Switch.
There you go.
I normally don't put release date announcements, but I'm including it because of the addendum onto it. Psychonauts 2 is coming out in August. I think we mentioned that while we were watching the Xbox presentation. But according to Double Fine Studios, is coming out, and it was developed with zero crunch, according to Kevin Johnson from Double Fine. He said so on Twitter. Again, I think it's laudable, and we need to call these out as we see them. Carrie had mentioned a couple weeks ago that Ratchet and Clank, also a game developed with zero crunch, and it's an amazing game. So just proof positive that you don't need to work your people 60, 70 hours a week to get them to meet a deadline for a game that, that is good. Just take your time, release it when it's ready. I think Psychonauts 2 took a long ass time to come out, but the fact that those developers got to work 40-hour work weeks the entire time is a huge positive, and I think people should recognize that and reward them accordingly by possibly playing it if they didn't plan on it before. If you're kind of interested, like, don't play it if you don't care about Psychonauts at all.
Right, but like, one, it's a shame that you have to like praise this, like, hey,
until it's the norm, right? Until it's the norm,
right? I get it. I 100% get it, and we should. But hey, it can be done. Yeah. It can be done. All you need to do is know how to manage your time, and that comes from the people at the top. So,
well, and even above that, like publishers need to also be more willing to allow games to just take the time they need to be made correctly. So
yeah, that's why you don't see a bunch of video games based off of movies anymore.
That's right, because yeah, those literally were time crunches. Some of the worst offenders of crunch, if you read through the Jason Schreier book, honestly.
Yeah, man.
Overwatch is getting crossplay. It is in beta as of right now, so whether you play on Switch, PlayStation, Windows, or Xbox, you can play against other people. It will be opt out, so if you're on console and you don't want to play against PC players, you certainly can. The only catch is you do have to have a battle.net account linked to the account of the system that you're playing on, but I think you have to have a Battle.net account to play Overwatch anyway. So yeah, that shouldn't be a big thing for anybody else. And it also will take your friends list from different territories, except for China, and merge them into one unified list, so you don't have to switch regions anymore, which you used to have to do on Battle.net as well. So that's pretty cool. I downloaded Overwatch again. We'll see if I actually play it or not, but I was I had the itch again after watching like the Overwatch 2 stuff a couple weeks ago. So we'll see if that happens.
All right. I tried playing Overwatch. I really did. I gave it the old college try. I just I didn't like, I wanted to be this character, and nope, you can't. I was like, well, fuck you then. I don't want to play you.
It's like I said, it does seem like a game that benefits so much from playing with people that you know.
Yeah.
Which is probably why I haven't stuck with it, and probably why I honestly won't stick with it again. It's just not a great solo experience, honestly. So
yeah, it's not. But
Pokemon Go developer Niantic is reportedly working on a Transformers game, which is going to be another mobile augmented reality game, much like Pokemon Go. It's called Transformers Heavy Metal. There's some screenshots that they shared. So I don't know why I said reportedly. It's confirmed that they're working on it. So basically, you'll be able to search for and battle against other robots in disguise in the real world around you.
Which is kind of like, it worked for Pokemon because like these little
Pokemon was literally going around finding wild Pokemon and catching them and battling them. So
like, are you gonna like come across a Camaro in the real world, and then just like is it just gonna be people pointing phones at cars?
Well, from the screenshot on the app, it looks like that the robots are literally just like standing around randomly in places. So like thematically, it's not really making a big effort to the Transformers theme too much. That would be cool, is if there's like cars and you had to like just walk up to random cars to see if it would transform or not. So
yeah, man. But then like somebody will get pissed, right? Because like, get away from my fucking car, man.
Honestly, I think they just need to add another license to their property, because I mean they're doing the Harry Potter AR game, which my wife plays sometimes. They're still doing Ingress. They're working on a Catan game, according to this article as well. They're working on a Pikmin project for Nintendo. So big stuff going on over at Niantic right now. But hey, Transformers fans, get excited. Rough week for EA. There was a hack a couple of weeks ago where security was breached through EA's Slack channel that they have. And apparently the FIFA and Frostbite source code has been stolen from EA. About 780 total gigabytes of data were stolen, including proprietary EA frameworks and software development kits. And the hackers provided Vice with the documents to prove that they had them. So that's not good. According to EA, no player data was accessed, so that's a plus. And they said they bolstered their security improvements since the incident, and they don't think it'll have an impact on their existing business. And they are currently working with law enforcement to track these guys down.
So what is this like? Is this like extortion, or is
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, like the hackers haven't really demanded anything, and EA is just kind of like, well, it's out there, so it is what it is. So I like they just got in there. So basically, there's like a stolen cookies website that you can get like login details for stuff that you want to get into, like corporate channels of this nature and things and stuff like that. And basically the hackers contacted someone at EA's IT for a authentication code saying that they had lost their phone, and EA gave it to them. So someone fucked up. Apparently hackers are looking to sell the data to a third party. So I guess if there's a shitty game developer out there that wants to buy the source code for Frostbite because they want to develop their own engine, that doesn't seem like a good idea. I feel like that'll
it really doesn't.
But dude,
this is this is our new game, UEFA 21. Like, look kind of a lot like FIFA. No, not at all.
So we've been talking about EA, especially in terms of loot boxes and other like the scrutiny that they're coming under from countries, governments, especially in Europe. So due to this, under all this pressure, EA has decided now that they're going to, in FIFA at least, they have given you the ability to see what's going to be in a pack before you buy it. So they now have a preview option on their Ultimate Team packs in the pack stores in FIFA 21. And if you do the preview, you will literally see which cards you are going to get if you purchase the pack. Right down like the exact cards. So apparently card packs that are won through play rewards, so basically card packs like that you do for like the squad challenges and things of that nature, will not be previewable. But if you're spending real money or FIFA coins on packs in the store, you'll get to see what you're buying up front. So that's interesting. My question, say again. Go ahead.
So if they're doing this, none of them are going to be good, right? Like,
well, so that's my question. So let's say you preview this and it's junk, and then you back out of it and you preview it again. Like, is it the same pack or is it going to randomize it? It can't, right? Because otherwise people would just sit there and back out and go back in until they got a pack that was worth buying.
Right. I would imagine the packs would rotate on some sort of timed interval.
Oh, actually I read further down while we were talking. Yes. So apparently the packs refresh every 24 hours.
Yeah. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I have to imagine that they're all junk though. Like they're not gonna be.
Well, you're gonna get the same odds that you got before. It's just that you'll know you're getting junk before you buy it. And if it's going to be junk, you're probably not going to buy it unless you are just pack farming to just find good shit. You know what I mean? Like if you have a shitload of FIFA points and you're basically just going through the packs till you find what you need. Then I guess that's what's going to happen there. So yeah, so that's
like this is what mobile games do, like the Marvel Strike Force and Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, stuff like that. They have a store where you can spend the in-game currency, which costs real money, and or any other in-game currency. They have in-game currency that costs real money, and then a bunch of other in-game currency. And they have different stores that use different versions of that currency. And 3 times a day, they rotate out. And if you buy it, you know what you get. If you buy it, you buy it, and then it'll refresh, or you can pay to have it refreshed. So I wouldn't be surprised if that gets implemented also. Like, oh, you know what you're buying, but if you don't like it and you don't want to wait 24 hours, give us some of your, FIFA bucks or whatever they're called.
Yes, like I said, I honestly don't know how this is going to improve things. I don't know that it's going to, because the only people that it's going to help are like the more casual folks who make every purchase count, kind of. And so like you're not going to buy a junk pack just to find what might be in the next pack, because essentially it's the same thing, right? Like buying a shitty pack just to find out what might be in the next pack that's coming down the road is the same bit of gambling. But again, good that it's more transparent than it was before. But I don't think it solves the core issue. But I also don't know if you can solve the core issue, because the way you solve that is by letting players buy the cards they want directly, which opens up a whole different problem.
Yeah. So yeah, there are already people who apparently have all the money in the world,
right,
to just keep buying packs. If you're gonna let them buy, if everybody can have it, then it's not worth anything.
Correct. So Marvel Avengers, man. Marvel Avengers. Really, all you could say is just Marvel Avengers, and that's good enough. So they put out a patch that brought in the Cosmic Cube event and a new boss, but it came with a kind of unfortunate bug as well. So basically what the bug does is, while you are playing the content in Marvel Avengers, it shows your gamer tag, the date and time, and your IP address on a string of floating text that bounces around while you're playing the game. So if you're a streamer and you want to dox yourself, play Marvel Avengers before they fix this patch.
Yeah. I can't. This thing was just doomed, man. It was doomed. Like I know people are like working hard on this thing, but like I
By the
think
way,
it's
apparently there's a hot fix coming tomorrow for it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they say.
I mean, it better. I mean, Jesus. Um, I can't see why people would still be playing this at this point. I don't.
How does that bug make it through QA? Like that's a serious fucking problem. Good lord. That like I said, of all the bugs we've ever seen, that's up there, man. That's up there with one of the worst. How did it really, how did they not pull the game down after as soon as that was discovered?
Well, it's all the work of the scientist supreme, Brad. You see, she doesn't want you to stop her from getting the cosmic cube. So she's trying to fool you into doxing yourself, I guess. Wow. That's
Ridiculous.
That's really fucking bad, man.
December 16th, if you still play GTA Online on PlayStation 3 and 360, is gonna be the last day that you can do it, because Rockstar is taking the game down off of the older generation consoles. Of course, coming I think in November is when we're going to see GTA Online on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. But to make room from the new, you got to get rid of the old, I guess. I can't imagine that a ton of people are still playing GTA Online on old generation consoles.
I mean, I would hope not, but maybe they sunk so much money into GTA Online that they can't.
Yeah, but you can migrate to the newer console. Like if you
Yeah, but you got to have money, to real money, to buy the new console. And if you're just dumping all your money into shark points or whatever they're called, I don't know. Yeah, look, I understand, people like to keep the old systems and stuff around, but like I never understood it. Like I don't know. I'm more of I've always been a you know, like let's get the new shit. you know? Like if I can, I want the new stuff. So I get it, and it comes from a place of privilege, I guess. But
but I mean, at the same time, Rockstar has their player stats, and they wouldn't be doing this if
if it was still
people
making
on
money.
those servers weren't, wasn't negligible. So
yeah.
Finally, PlayStation finally getting a feature that Xbox has had for years at this point, where you can now, if you'd like, register and sign up to receive beta firmware updates on your PS5. It's available to players in the US, Canada, Japan, the UK, Germany, and France. And that way, when new firmware features are ready to be tested, you can get those updates onto your PS5 system. Of course, you can opt out at any time as well, though just keep in mind, if you download beta firmware and then you opt out and you don't want it, you're going to have to factory reset your console to roll it back to the older firmware in most cases. I'm not really a big beta console firmware guy. Like, I don't like, though the likelihood of beta firmware coming out and bricking your console is low, that's just not a risk I'm willing to take just to get some new feature 2 months before everybody else does.
Yeah, it's not a life-saving vaccine, Like, I don't need to be the first one out the gate to brick my system. Yeah, no, I'm good. I will wait. I will wait, because the firmware updates, they're not like, they're usually like some quality of life stuff. I get it, but like it's not is it gonna transform my PlayStation into something like no.
If you I don't know though, if they come out with the beta update that lets you long press your PS button to bring up like a quick menu like on PS4, maybe,
that would be nice.
Jumping on that one. I still can't get used to the fucking press it once, go to the bottom, scroll all the way to the right, like that. Speaking of making it out of QA, how did that not get UX tested out of existence? Like, you had a perfect fucking thing. I understand PlayStation likes to revamp their user interface with every new console, and I appreciate that. But at the same time, like if you got something that works really well, just don't. Why break it? Why are you gonna do that? So
it ain't broke, guys.
right.
You know what's broke? Hitting a button and then hitting another button 5 times and then hitting another button and then going down and then hitting another button. That's broken.
So that's the news.
That is the news. Ladies and gentlemen, I implore you. We're trying to send a guy to space. We're trying to send a guy to space and we're trying to make him stay up there. And the only way that you can send Jeff Bezos to space and keep him up there is by going to densepixels.com/Amazon for all of your Amazon purchases. When you go to densepixels.com/Amazon for all of your Amazon purchases, 1, you help us out, right? We get a finder's fee. 2, you get what you want at no additional cost. And 3, you get to keep the real life Lex Luthor in space forever.
You know what I just bought on densepixels.com/Amazon today that I'll be talking about on the show next week, I'm sure, or the week after?
What's that?
The Backbone One controller. For your phone.
For your phone.
For your phone.
I'm surprised. You don't seem like a phone a phone gamer, but maybe that's because you don't have a backbone.
That could be because I don't have a backbone. But here's the thing, Micah. You know what else I can do on my phone in a couple of weeks? Soon? xCloud.
Yes.
I like so I'm basically, before I buy an Xbox, I'm gonna see if it's tangible to play all of my Xbox stuff on my iPhone.
I am
with the backbone.
I'm very curious.
We'll let you know. Like I said, I'm gonna probably fire up the Ascent as soon as it comes out, because I can still get those 3 months of Game Pass for $1 or whatever it is right now that they got going on. So
I pre-installed it. I'm ready.
Very good.
They're gonna let me know.
Very
just like
good.
I let you know that densepixels.com/Amazon is where you need to go to keep an evil man in space.
So I had never heard of Scott Cawthon. But apparently he's a pretty big deal because he created Five Nights at Freddy's, which is a mega franchise, in a lot of multimedia stuff. Scott Cawthon, however the fuck you pronounce his last name, is incredibly is a devout Christian, apparently. And being the fact that he's a devout Christian, he lives in America, the odds are pretty good, and in this case, bang on the money, that he's a Republican. And as a very rich white Republican, he has thrown a shitload of money at not only politicians who are staunchly Republican, but also a lot of LGBTQIA causes, which the Republican Party backs as well. So this was leaked on Reddit, and he commented on it because, like, basically what was leaked is his political donations record, which is public knowledge, by the way. If you politically donate, it's logged in the public record. People can access it if they know where to look. And so you see guys like Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, pick your Republican famous politician du jour, and chances are Scott Cawthon has donated like the maximum amount to them that's allowable, which is like $2,800, I do believe, under federal law. He commented because he says that there's enough folks in the there's so many people in the LGBT community in his fan base that he felt that he had to comment on it, especially considering that he's donating to causes that directly impact them negatively. And so basically he tried to defend why he supported Republicans. And look, man, I get it. You're Christian, you're pro-life, fine. Well, sorry, you're pro-birth. That kind of shit, whatever. You can, and you're rich, like you can support who you want to support, you can donate to who you want to donate to. That's completely fine. But there's consequences that come with that, especially if you're a public figure and you get found out about it. Like it is what it is.
Right. Like I hope he's not going on saying, I'm being oppressed or whatever. Like you can do what you want, right? But every action has some sort of consequence. First of all, let me start by saying, Brad, get these politics out of video games. And second, look, I understand, if I donate money to things that I believe in also. But if people don't like you for it, like, you're just gonna have to accept that. And I don't agree with people harassing the dude. You don't have to harass him. You can talk shit about his product.
Sure.
You can do that shit all day. I have no problem with that.
Well, like, and stop me if you've heard this before, Micah. So here's a quote from him defending himself. I've never cared about anyone's race, religion, gender, or orientation. Of course. I just treat people as people, everyone the same. And because of that, I've ended up with a very diverse group of people that I've worked with over the years.
Okay.
I've got a gay friend, he's saying.
Oh, yeah, right. How many of them people?
I can't be anti-gay because because look at all the friends I have.
Right. How many of those people have you let inside your house? Like, get out of here, man.
And again, you can't truly call these people your friends if you're donating to keep people in office or get people elected to office that are going to tangibly work to negatively impact their lives.
Right.
You can't have both. You can't have it both ways.
It's if I get canceled, then I get canceled. I don't do this for the money anymore. All right, you're not a martyr.
You got more money than you fucking know what to do with, I'm sure, at this point.
Yeah, because he's donating it to evil people. Look, you don't. I get it. I really do.
Yeah.
But I don't feel sympathy for anything that he's going through, aimed at him directly. Like some of us, or some of the people who lean extremely left, I'm sure they want to like harass this guy's family and shit like that. I don't believe in that. I think I can say on good authority that Brad does not believe in that shit. But like this dude, I don't feel sorry for. I don't. It's the same old story, man. Like,
well, and in reaction to all this, he's basically taking his ball and going home, which fine. Like, all right, so he's retiring, quote unquote, from developing video games. He's going to hand the Five Nights franchise off to I don't know who. But yeah, so basically he's done, which is great. So. I love this so much, by the way. So in his like farewell post, basically, he's like, if you took the time to look, you'll see that the candidates I support included men, women, white people, black people, Republicans, Democrats. The only Democrat he supported, by the way, was Tulsi Gabbard, who
all right, yo.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna love this. Micah, he did support a candidate that checked off black and woman simultaneously. You're never going to guess who it is.
A candidate?
A candidate who did not win their election.
Who?
Kim Klacik.
Yo, shut up.
He specifically named her. As someone he supported, and it literally that's like the I can't hate black people because I can't. Never mind the fact that she was basically like fucking Candace Owens in heels.
Oh my god, that's funny. Oh my god, that's funny.
Yeah, so he name checked both her and Tulsi Gabbard in trying to say that he supported a diverse group of candidates, which is fucking laughable if you know anything about politics.
All right, yo. Okay.
And basically he was saying he supported them because even if they weren't great on LGBTQ rights, then the other stuff that like if he had supported a candidate who was, they would have done more harm to those communities with other policies that they just shut up, man. Just
all right. Just cut it with the double speak, man. Like it just all right, man. I'm a Republican, I'm a Christian, I'm pro-life, I believe in God, I also believe in equality and in science and common sense. I don't think you do.
Yeah.
Look, I'm three of those things, right? I'm a Christian. Um I believe in God and pro-life. I I'm pro-choice, right? Like I wouldn't, I wouldn't encourage anyone to have an abortion, but I also know that it's not on my fucking business. So you do what you got to do. Um, but I just don't. I don't know, man. I just don't understand. I don't understand the thought process that certain people have on especially on the extremes.
Mm-hmm.
Because nothing outside of math and technology is either one thing or the other. Like there's everything is shades of gray.
This is less about his beliefs. Like I think like if he believes those things, then I think his beliefs are fucking dumb.
Yeah.
But he can believe what he wants and he can spend his money how he wants. But again, you're not there comes a cost with that. And if that means that, you know, people are gonna stay away from your game series now as a result, or they're going to force you to retire, and I'm still using air quotes when I say that because again he literally just took his ball and went home, then that's something you have to deal with, and you have to go in clear-eyed to that kind of a situation. And look, he probably doesn't give a shit at all. He's made his money. Like it's not like putting out another Five Nights at Freddy's game was going to change his life dramatically. Like he's already richer than you and I will ever be probably, just by creating that series in the first place. But sucks for Five Nights, you know. I mean, I feel like that you're going to see that series take a huge hit now. A lot of folks I know or that played the game previously are not going to buy any future iterations. I'm sure there's a lot of like streamers and stuff like that who probably will not be streaming the game, which is where it got a lot of its cachet and popularity from as well.
I mean, they were like, there's talks of it being a movie, dude. Sure. Like that was
not liberal Hollywood, Micah. No, but that's the thing though, is that it is perfectly acceptable to not want like people are like, oh, you got to separate the art from the artist, and that's a personal decision. Like I don't think there's a blanket correct answer to that in one direction or the other. Because there's some things where I can separate the art from the artist in some aspects, and there's some places where I really can't. Right. If a game creator of a franchise that I love was discovered to be in the same reign of who, you know, people he's donating to and things of that nature, it would make it a lot more difficult for me to want to financially support them.
Right.
So I mean, and at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. Like you are literally paying money to buy that game, and some of that money is going to him. It's the same reason that I don't eat at Chick-fil-A, because even though, you know, I think they make a good fucking chicken sandwich, like I don't want money that I spend to go towards the things that they put their money towards.
Right.
Like that's a completely rational response. It's what the free market exists for, by the way. Fucking free market capitalists out there. It's kind of a feature of it, not a bug. So yeah, fuck this dude. Like I said, I'm sure he's, you know, he might be a nice guy, but he doesn't spend his money and doesn't contribute to nice causes. So fuck him and the horse he rode on, and good riddance.
Plus, you know, I was never a big Five Nights at Freddy's fan.
Well, it's not a game.
It's not for me.
Whatever.
It's not for me. So, this is going to be the easiest boycott I've ever had. Leave gay people alone, yo.
Seriously, just leave people alone. How about
yeah?
Like if it doesn't happen in your four walls, just chill it out, because none of your fucking business. Our long 6-month national nightmare, Micah, worldwide nightmare, has come to an end. No, not COVID. Cyberpunk 2077 is back on the PlayStation Store as of yesterday.
Wow.
However, Sony is still telling people, do not buy this on the base for the base PS4. It literally like there's literally a disclaimer when you go to buy it that says for the best performance or for the best experience on PlayStation, play on PS4 Pro or PS5. So there's nothing to indicate what brought this about. There was no explanation given by Sony. There was no explanation given to CDPR as to what finally broke the levee to get this to happen. CDPR is still just putting out like hot fixes and shit like that. So yeah, but it's back now, Micah. You can now purchase Cyberpunk on the PlayStation Store.
I think the catalyst was someone at CDPR listened to the Dense Pixels podcast when they said, "Hey, if you want your game to be on the PlayStation Store, you got to go talk to them." And then they were like, "Oh yeah, duh." And then they spoke to them and they were like, "Hey, can we please look? We're trying the game. Can you please put it back on your store?" And Sony was just like, "Wow, you guys sound really pathetic. Sad. Fine, but
and again, to note,
we're going to discourage people to play it on PS4. They gotta play it on PS5 though."
To note, this is still not the actual next generation copy. Of course, that's not coming until next year, probably.
Maybe. Who knows?
The top comment on this on the story in Eurogamer that I have it linked from, for best experience, don't play it. Oh, that's fucked up.
Oh man. Apparently someone is playing it on PC and found it a fantastic game.
Cool. Yeah, well, PC is the best platform to play.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently the current gen versions, and I say current because it is the current generation that we're in. The current gen versions are largely fine. Apparently, it's also pretty good on PS4 Pro and Xbox One X as well.
No, I don't think it's, well, maybe I have a base.
One X is apparently good. Apparently the worst version is the original Xbox One version. Like that's even worse than the PlayStation version.
I tried it. And it was horrible. It was pretty damn bad. My experience on the new Xbox, it was fine. It was fine. I didn't have too many. I had the same amount of like hiccups that any open world game of this nature would have, but when you buy something on an Xbox, you can play it on any Xbox in your house. And the older Xbox, the older Xboxes, I can't remember the naming conventions for some reason, because they don't just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's fucking stupid. But the older Xbox, last gen's Xbox, I have a day one, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
Like it is unplayable. So I don't know. We'll see.
I really just hope we can stop talking about Cyberpunk. Stop putting news out about this game, please.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, that would be really, really nice.
Like I said, and Cyberpunk being shit when it came out was a happy accident for me because I got to play a great game instead. So because I started playing Ghost of Tsushima instead of Cyberpunk.
There you go.
That was amazing. So we go to the post office, starting with Daniel. Using whatever criteria you need to specify, finish this sentence. I can beat anyone at blank at my peak.
Video game related?
I assume so. But he said use whatever criteria you want. So if you want to spin it off to non-video game related stuff, you certainly can.
I don't know. I'm not really good at anything. Video game related, man, I'm not even gonna lie and say like a fighting game. Yeah, I can beat anyone at finishing a game in a ridiculous amount of time at my peak. My peak being in my late 20s when I had no girlfriend and lived by myself.
If we specify people that I know personally, At my peak, I could beat anyone at FIFA.
There you go.
But again, only among people that I know personally. Online, I was still pretty good, but I wasn't anywhere near as good as like the pro players by any imagination. Rev asks, what is a game system and or handheld you've never played? I mean, that's a long fucking list. Do you know how many obscure game consoles there are out there? So let's keep this to like mainstream consoles. I'm trying to think of a mainstream game console that I never played.
What was that taco phone thing?
Would you consider the N-Gage a mainstream console?
I mean, probably not. That's the first one that comes to mind.
You know what I never did play? I never played on an original Game Boy Advance. I didn't get a GBA until the SP came out because for some reason, like not having a backlit screen seemed irrational to me in 2001.
Does Neo Geo count? I never played a Neo Geo Pocket. I know, man. Like I can't.
That's pretty obscure, I think. Especially because it was price prohibitive. Like I would equate Neo Geo in like the same sphere as like a 3DO or a Atari Jaguar.
Yeah, like I've at least played. Like I may not have owned all these consoles, but I've played on them. I knew one person that had a Jaguar, and I played it. But I was at a video game club in high school, and they brought their consoles in. So I can't think of
I think I've at least played everything at this point. I haven't played on a Series X, so I guess that counts if you want to go with recency bias.
I mean, I haven't played anything before I was born, right? Like I didn't have an Atari 2800. I didn't have a ColecoVision or anything like that. Like from 1985 when the Nintendo NES was released until now, I've played every video game console.
Yeah.
That's not like exclusive to Japan.
Right. Yeah, it's that's I think I at least have played everything. The only other and again, like how mainstream do you consider the original Sega Master System? Like I've never played on that, but like would you even count it in the criteria that we're looking at? So yeah, we've played pretty much everything that's come out, at least gotten hands on it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
what a privileged life we've led, I suppose. So to do these things. C. Kent asks, is there a book you've read that might make a good board or video game?
I would imagine almost any book could be a good board game, right? Like it would the thing with video games, and it's the same thing with board games, it's mechanics, right? Like how do you translate the story into actions that you do in the game?
Yeah, board games are actually easier because you can paste on a theme onto almost anything and make it work.
Yeah, look at fucking Monopoly. Jesus Christ.
No, but even like stuff you wouldn't expect to make for a good board game, like literally just takes a theme that works and just pastes it on and calls it a day. There's a lot of games that would be interesting. Like there's a lot of existing games that I would be interested to see what a themed, like a skinned version looks like like a game like a Twilight Imperium, right? But theme it like with Mass Effect and have like the different races competing for, supremacy in the Mass Effect universe, that kind of thing. And since all the races have their different traits, you can, like, the Krogans are great in ground battles but not great in space, and they have poor technology, while the Solarians are awesome at technology, but they can't fight for shit on the ground, and the Asaris have like tons of biot. Like you could theme like Twilight Imperium, I think, interestingly around it. Video games are tougher because it's harder to paste on a theme to a mechanical exercise. But I don't know, like it depends on what type of game you're looking for. I think that having like a survival game kind of themed after like an Andy Weir book might be interesting, because I'm reading Project Hail Mary right now, and that's been pretty cool so far. So
my problem is I don't read a lot of variety, right? I got I got a ton of like just dumb. I got a book over there about a wealthy benefactor who hires people to get into suits that I imagine are like the Gears of War suits to fight the Greek pantheon. like, okay, so Gears of War meets God of War. Like that's what this book is, right?
Those,
and then
those Halo books might make for a good video game franchise one of these days.
you know, maybe, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so most of the junk I read, you could just turn it into a shooter.
Cam asks how I feel about City's alleged offer for Tottenham star Harry Kane, who is reportedly declared that he wants away from the club this summer.
Okay, I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
So Tottenham's best player, Harry Kane, who led both the Premier League in goals and assists last season, which is crazy, reportedly has said that he wants to explore options away from the club because Tottenham hasn't really been winning anything, and that's what good players do, is as they get older, they're like, I want to win some stuff, so I'm going to probably leave. Reportedly, Manchester City offered over 100 million euros for Harry Kane, and possibly players coming back from them coming back the other way as well, that Tottenham reportedly has denied so far. Harry Kane is currently 28 years old, which doesn't sound old, but in soccer terms, it's getting there. Like he's basically just exited his prime years in competitive soccer, and the next 3 years he'll still be probably very productive, but you'll start to see it fall off as he gets into his early 30s. Also, Harry Kane, someone who has had a lot of injury history with like ankle injuries, which for a soccer player, not great. If Tottenham gets an offer from City, like I prefer they don't sell him in England, but if they do, then I mean that's where he wants to stay in England, so they don't have a ton of choice about that. But if he has to go to England, if City's going to pay over 100 million euro to get him, I feel like you got to do that. Like I feel like that's a like you can get a lot of really good players back into the squad to help replace what he did for that kind of money. And I feel like that, considering that he has to be slated for a decline at some point, that's like, you got to take that deal. Apparently, like the rumor is that Tottenham's chairman is trying to get City to get up towards like 150, which if it's like 150, then fucking forget about it. That's a stupid amount of money. Cam also has, with Ted Lasso coming back next month, what are the hopes for AST Richmond? I've actually not watched Ted Lasso yet. I'm terrible at watching TV shows, even though I heard Ted Lasso was fucking incredible.
Yeah, I heard that show is really good. Maybe I'll my wife is always looking for something to watch. I gotta check out a trailer and see if it's something that she would watch. That's the only way I get to watch TV.
Well, and here's the thing, like I should be like all over this fucking show because it's soccer themed. It's Jason Sudeikis, who I like, and it was the showrunners, Bill Lawrence, who did two of my favorite shows ever in Spin City and Scrubs. So like this should be a no-brainer for me. But yeah, I just haven't, and I have an Apple TV premium subscription. I just haven't taken the time to
like,
do it.
What the hell is on Apple TV, right?
Well, I did pay for it. Like, come on, like they gave it to me for free when I bought the damn thing, and then they gave me another couple months for free when my wife got an iPhone. So
there you go.
Daniel asked, when is GameStop Stories Part 2? We haven't really talked about that yet. We'll have to wait till we can get Terrence rubbed in, because Terrence will have a whole bunch of stories that he can tell, because he wasn't on the original episode of that. So
Terrence will have a whole new perspective.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Once we can get that, and it's funny too, because like a lot of my old colleagues who left right around the time they left, they're going back, including my boss. So it's interesting, and I'm not sure why, because the company is not looking too hot right now. So.
Yeah.
Finally, Mad Coco G asks, with their steady no behind the scene wrongdoings, is Insomniac like the Tom Hanks or Denzel Washington of game studios? Also is Rift Apart game of the year for 2021. Look, I mean, we said it a couple weeks ago. I think right now you'd have to consider Insomniac like the best game studio that's out there, just based on like the whole multitude of factors. Is it game of the year for 2021? Now, if you're talking about new games that have released so far this year, probably so far. It's between that, for me, it's between that or Returnal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Ratchet and Clank is a more polished, complete package. Though Returnal's very good. I think Ratchet and Clank will get the nod over it for me right now. I don't know if that's going to last throughout the year, but also, do you count Mass Effect Legendary Edition? Because that's probably going to win if we count it. You know what I mean?
I mean, for me, Mass Effect is it. And look, this is 100% bias, right? Like I acknowledge that. But like I put in work in that game, and now I'm starting my Renegade playthrough. Because I can't, like, I finished Ratchet and Clank, and
I can't believe that you 100%ed that game from tip to tail. And you're just like, well, I got started all over again.
So. I gotta play it again, man. I did it in 4 weeks. I might spread it out this time. I played all 3 of those games in 4 weeks, and I don't have the stress of like playing it on a fucking hard difficulty anymore.
There's not like a PlayStation Plus game that you've claimed that you're like semi interested in, that you just want to kick around since you have nothing on your plate right now? No, because I might check out Control, because Control.
Yeah, you could check it out.
Yeah,
you could check it out, and then look, I played Control.
Mm-hmm.
Control is fine. I like that company and the games that they make, but it always comes to a point where I'm just like, I think I've had enough of this.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's the same thing over and over again. And that's the nature of video games. It's the same thing over and over again. But some
companies are better at disguising that loop than others.
So. Exactly. Like Max Payne, same thing over and over again. Bullet time, pow, right? So, but the story's got to get you. And Max Payne 3, the story didn't get me. Quantum Break or whatever it was, that had a whole damn TV series attached to it. The mechanics were cool, but it didn't keep me. Same thing with Control. The mechanics are cool, but it didn't keep me. So you'll have a little bit of fun with Control, and then you'll put it down.
Interesting.
I'm looking at releases that are scheduled to come out, and I'm not seeing anything that maybe what's that, Deathloop might be a contender.
Oh, I'm getting Deathloop. Oh, you mean as far as game of the year stuff?
Maybe
Deathloop will be up there. Metroid Dread, possibly, depending on how quality that game is when it comes out. I got to see more gameplay, and I got to say, I'm feeling a little better about the price tag. A little better, not a lot better, a little better. Still $60.
It's still $60 for a Metroid style game.
Yeah, a lot of fucking money. But look, other games that. So I mean, we're 6 months through the year. We can, I guess, start to talk about this. Griftlands is going to be up there for me for game of the year. I've already put 25 hours into that game. Just came out a couple weeks ago. It's really good. I hope this Rogue Book. I hope that's good as well. Again, just give me a fucking deck builder, man. That's all you gotta do to suck me in.
Yeah.
Like I said, the Ascent I'm tentatively excited for. The new Drinkbox game I think comes out this year. That might be up there. Yeah, like I said, there's a few more things, but I think this year is going to be a very indie centric year, just in terms of the best stuff that's coming out. Because there's a lot of really good indie stuff coming out, even if there's not a whole lot of huge AAA stuff coming out, because we have to wait for next year for all this. Oh, Horizon. If Horizon makes it out this year, that's also going to probably be a very strong contender, and I can't see any reason that wouldn't, move past Ratchet. Like honestly, like if it's anywhere near the level of the last game, if not far exceeding it, and it's gonna probably be far exceeding it, then that'll probably be a strong choice there.
Yeah. So Ratchet Clank, really good game. I don't know it, but game of the year will be dependent on what else is coming out. I mean,
it's the clubhouse leader, as they say right now. So
there you go.
So that is it for us this episode. Again, join our Discord if you have not yet, densepixels.com/fans. You can submit post office questions to us throughout the week, and we will answer them on the show for you, much like we did today. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast. Also subscribe on YouTube if you go to youtube.com/densepixels, or just search for the Dense Pixels channel in your YouTube app. You can check us out there, and then follow us all on Twitch as well. I'm Dense Pixels Brad, Terrence is Apparition 410, and Carrie is Suffix Carrie. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Until next week, we'll see you later.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here, and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.